Hello everyone and welcome to the Deep Blue Renegade podcast. My name is Molly, also known as the Deep Blue Renegade, and I would like to welcome you guys to episode 362. Today is Saturday, March 27th, 2021, and I'm glad you could join me today. We are, what would it be, recording earlier than last week, which is good. I didn't know we were getting any feedback about the late last week, so I don't know. I don't know if that's no news is good news or but I am currently recording early enough that there is no direct sunlight streaming in the room, so I am leaving that as it is for now. And you may end up hearing some background noise because my neighbor is having a party in their backyard. So this is the danger of recording on Saturday. There could be a danger of recording on Sunday too. Who knows? Definitely the case where I wouldn't, or would it be? I'd rather not record during the week, so this is probably fine. And I'm like a little bit confused why my hat ended up. It's like, why are you there, hat? So, would it be? But it's under yarn, so I didn't end up wearing it yesterday. I took it out of my bag. Yeah, whatever. So, not too crazy. It actually feels pretty nice. The Dear Sweet Level 1 has not turned down the heat for the day. He has started to turn the heat off at night, and we're just using like the heated mattress pad. But we have like an old school bi-metallic strip mercury thermostat, so you can either turn it to 50 degrees and have it do nothing, or you can turn it to the temperature you want it to be and let it continue to do its thing. And he hasn't turned it on today. It's like, we might be leaving the house. Like, why does the house need to be warm? It's like, because we're in it now. Oh well, whatever. So it's not like I'm doing too much about it. I'm not wearing socks. So it shouldn't be too crazy this week. Would it be though? I suppose. Man, or would it be like where we left off last week was I was knitting a shawl and swatching for a sweater. Where I am this week is I have finished a shawl, which I do believe was something I ended up finishing Saturday night after recording. So I have finished a shawl, but I haven't blocked a shawl, which then has this whole cascading series of events in which I don't go to the post office. I still haven't mailed my Viajante to my cousin yet, even though it is washed and blocked and happy. I don't know if that's because I want to get like one more picture of it, or whatever. But who knows? And then I will need to wash and block this guy too, so that may be a pretty good activity. So you can now see it in its full glory. So it's a little bit wider than a straight up triangle. It does want to go down a little bit in the center, and then it doesn't have like a pointy point because of that center panel, so it has like a slightly different shape down there, and it's a little bit ruffly, so it'll be interesting to see how it all blocks out. But I was like weighing and checking, and so I ended up managing to get a little bit of the green back into it in the end. I'm not sure if it looks enough to be like on purpose, but whatever. And this is just a shawl of my own design, which is actually pretty cozy right now, and coordinates better than I expected with my shirt. But this is the coolest feature of the shawl, right? So because I have those leaf panels going on the 45s in the triangle, this means that you get this really cute leaf pattern on your shoulders on accident. And then you have the center spine. The center panel does look a little bit different, but not too crazy. So this is as close to 12 ounces of shawl as I could manage. The green yarn is Chamomile Connection in a Polworth base, and then the purple yarn is from Two Guys Yarn Company. It was a special blended sliver, which was would it be 55% Romney, 20% South Down, and then whatever percentage is probably like 10 and 15 of nylon and banana. So that ended up turning out to be a really, listen close, a very interesting yarn. But because it is a majority Romney, it's not as bittery soft as the Polworth. So, but like as a shawl, I think it ends up being fine. So, I will be blocking this and sending it off to my mother-in-law soon. And this is what it looks like on the other side. So it is much more subtle on the other side, but still really cute. And then, depending on what you want to end up doing, it could, or would it be, like I wanted it to look nice either way, so it should be good. And my flower motif turned out really cute. There's probably another way that I could have incorporated a flower-like thing on the vine, so instead of having increases be on the outside and sort of creating these bubbles, basically, I could have just had, what would it be, constant increases in the very center spine, and so then that would make little bubblets, I guess. Just depends on what you're going for. So, not too crazy. Another hand spun shawl done. I took some pictures of it pre-blocking, but haven't yet bothered to fill the basin to block this bad boy. What do we probably need to find a towel that needs to be washed to soak up. Be like, what's ready now? As you do. So, not too crazy. Happy brioche shawl. All done, all good. And I might just keep wearing it because it is cozy and a little bit cool back here right now. I don't know, is the tails long? Yeah, the tails are actually long enough to tie as well. Did it turn out as huge as I was expecting it to? No. Alright, so now we're, I don't know, it'll be interesting to see which way that ends up going, but now I have a bolero with charming, what have you. So, not too crazy. It was the case where once I started weighing, I was like, okay, I don't have too much more left to go. So I used almost everything. So this is about 2 grams. It took 3 grams for the row, and this guy is like 0.8 grams. So I got as close as I could to using it all. And so I'll just bundle this up and send it as well in case there need to be any repairs or something like that. But shouldn't be too crazy. We'll see if I block it before I mail it. It's been a bit of a handspun palooza around here, which is very exciting, I suppose. So my work in progress at the moment is a hinterland sweater. This is a Jen Steingas pattern that I am knitting with handspun. So what we have going on here. So last week I swatched for it and then ripped out the swatch before I showed it on the podcast, which was probably slightly silly. And then also I'm wondering if the ribbing on the neckband looks a little bit wonky because it was pre-knit yarn, or maybe I just wasn't using a tight enough needle in order to get really tidy ribbing. Who knows? But this is where I'm at so far. So I have started the pine tree part of the motif, and you can see that we have sort of these like crosses and lines. And this is the case where I get very strong hue contrast, but not very strong value contrast, which may make showing the sweater like a little bit of a pain because it is more subtle because both of the yarns are pretty similar value to each other. If you took a black and white photo, you can't distinguish them. But, hey, whatever. So this is Three Waters Farm Fin in the black round blue colorway. And this is Nest Fiber Studio. These were nestlets that I combined together in a way in order to make a long color change spin cycle like yarn with lots of marly, flecky goodness. So I am now getting into a section which is sort of like red, pink, and white right now. I am getting out of a section that was more like yellow, red, orange. But it should be very gorgeous. So I still have quite a lot of yoke to go. I'm apparently done making increases to the yoke, which is sort of interesting. Whatever. I guess we'll work through the ramifications of that as we go. And on the gauge front, I suppose I can do a quick check now that I've sort of knit more fabric. I don't know. I can't tell if what I'm actually getting right now is like closer to like 5 3/4, or if I just can't get a straight line on this guy, but it is turning out to be a little bit tighter than my swatch, sort of getting into the rhythm of things, but I ended up selecting a size that was fairly substantial positive ease, so I think everything will end up being okay. Let's just, we can calculate this briefly. So, oh, I think that might have been the last calculation that I made with this. So, if I selected the 46-inch size, which would be quite a lot of ease if it was actually on pattern, and we had the pattern gauge is 5.5, but now we're going to divide this by 5.75. Yeah, so it'd be the case where the difference in stitch counts is 2 inches, so it'll be 44, which will still be plenty of ease for the sweater, so I'm not too concerned about it in the grand scheme of things. But for some reason, like I was having just like a little bit of like forearm twinge here, so you can see I'm wearing a band-aid, so I don't know if that is related to whatever, my missing mole. And so that's why it feels strange, or I just need to take it easy for a little bit. Who knows? But I need to look at the chart anyway, so I don't even know why I'm pulling this out to knit it. I do actually find color work to be pretty good social knitting, at least for me, because there's a certain rhythm to every row. So it'll be the case where when I'm working like a row like this, it'll be the case where I'll be doing like 2 stitches blue, 1 stitch red, 2 stitches blue, and so I'll be like 2, 1, 2, 1. I'm sorry for anyone who's counting. And so there is a certain rhythm in that, and then you'll get to the end of the row and be like, I need to think about something different now, and then you end up getting that. So, not too crazy. I'm knitting this actually inside out to ensure nice long floats. I've already expanded the needle once in order to accommodate that. And right now this is a pretty nice working size. Pretty good. And I am really liking how it's turning out. I did make one modification to the pattern, which was I substituted in a folded ribbed neckband. So this guy I think is somewhere between like an inch and an inch and a half. Hopefully it'll look a little bit neater after blocking. I'm guessing that some of that warbliness is just from knitting pre-knit yarn. And I guess I have to be like a little bit more careful because that stupid stitch does want to jump off the needle. But I managed to finish a round before I'm like, I need to do something different last night. So, and what have you, like, I think that's like a big thing. It's like, I want to happily keep knitting for quite some time. And in order to do that, I have to listen to my body. So my body's like, be like, switch. Though to be fair, I know what, this is my left hand, so the left hand doesn't do an awful lot when I'm spinning. Most of it's with my right hand. So that is what I opted to do last night. It was getting a little bit too much. So, new project on the needles. And would it be the case where, as you guys know, there are lots of potential projects, and sort of depending on mood and whim, I either go for it or I don't. And how it can change wildly depending on week to week, like which one will be most likely to be next. And so what it boils down to is I generally end up talking with, it would be, what would happen if I dyed my hair to be more yellow, is that it would be most ridiculously orange. So I understand full well that these are probably not colors that suit me, but oh my gosh, is this super duper ridiculously squishy kitten yarn. So I might just proceed and not care about the consequences. So what I have going on here, like, look at how ridiculously drapey this is. These skeins can't hold up. So here's what's going on. In various groups that I end up participating in, I will occasionally pose the question of, what should I do next? And I ended up sort of proposing, this is going to be a hot mess at some point. I ended up proposing 3 different projects, sort of on a whim. I don't know if it was entirely on a whim, but I ended up proposing 3 different projects for what should I do next. So one of them was my stranded yarn blanket, which would be a What the Fade shawl, because brioche and colors and emptying a Ziploc baggie of stash. And then I proposed using my couplet that I recently dyed and making the Chizarande beaded leaf shawl, but I don't have beads for that. But what ended up getting the most votes out of 5 was the aggregate shawl out of these 2 skeins of handspun. So what we have going on here is that this jewel tone one is Greenwood Fiberworks in the Arcade colorway, and it is a merino yak slip blend. And then the gold skein was your Daily Fiber Camel Silk. So we have a 50-50 yak silk, 50-50 camel silk, And I spun both of these yarns on spindles, and I think I plied them on the wheel. So this is like super duper ridiculously nice and soft and kidney, because I feel like I make better yarn when I'm on spindles. So I think that this will make a very nice aggregate shawl. And basically what it boils down to is they have like short row stripes. So you'll have one side that'll be more jewel tone and one side which will be more gold. And coincidentally, the gold that I ended up dyeing, the camel, does pick up some of the gold that's in the greenwood. So it's so nice, and it's going to be so drapey. The only thing which I'm not sure about at this point is the pattern is 4DK, and these are definitely lace. So it will probably be the case where I will end up making a larger shawl, or either I need to adjust it so that the color blocks are bigger, or I need to adjust it so that I just have more total blocks. I'm guessing more total blocks is probably the smarter choice. It looks like the sort of thing which can be very extendable. The only hilarious thing is I did already have the With the Fade pattern and the Chazarande pattern. Thank you, Jose. I bought the With the Fade myself, but Chazarande was a gift. So I'll have to put aggregate. But oh my god. So it would probably be the case where would it be, and this camel is not consistent. This was the first time that I had spun a luxury fiber, and I just had no every living clue what I was doing. But hey, whatever. So I'll have to check yardages and stuff, or whatever. I'll have to check and see what yardages I end up recording, just so I have like a rough idea of what's going on. But it's gotta be so beautiful. I don't know if you guys can even. It's gonna be so nice. So I'm excited about that, but I haven't been talking about that to you guys. I have been pondering it for the Flip to Stuff 2021. So on one hand, I feel super proud that I'm actually using up some of this hand spun. Would it be? I think part of this is the overreaction to my 2019 without hand spun. Part of this is, would it be feeling the hand spun stash being a little bit crazy and feeling the sweater stash being a little bit crazy, whereas their in between thing would be the sweater quantities of hand spun, but I don't have I don't have a lot of it, as you do, but a lot of my hand spun is pretty fine at the moment. So would it be, these guys are 2-ply lace weight. Back when I was spinning 2-ply lace weight, I've been hitting like 3-ply lace weight lately. So in some ways it's a little bit harder to use it because it's a little bit harder to use the hand spun because it is so fine, so it takes a lot of knitting effort to use it. But you can just sort of see, like, up there's like a little bit of daylight in there, so I've been doing pretty good at opening up a little bit of space in there, room in my heart for new fun games. And so that feels good. Definitely way easier to use the bulkier skeins. So this guy, like what? Like how long was I working on this? Like 2 weeks? Much faster. Be like, this was 12 ounces of hand spun out of the stash. Good to go. So this only empties half a Ziploc bag. I feel like that's a good thing, at least for me. So let me readjust slightly and get this looking cute. and keeping me warm. So that's sort of where I'm at right now. I definitely do have more bulky skeins. So I don't know if I would do other things, but it's just sort of what's churning around right now. I probably need a pretty decent block of time to start plotting out like the ridiculous poncho of my heart. I don't know. That's still kicking around. But what was it? Last week I just prepared fiber. This week I actually spun some of it. For some reason, or would be, I know exactly why the spinning mojo wasn't super duper high. Would it be? There just wasn't as much downtime last week as I would have liked. There will be plenty of downtime this week, and I'm super duper excited about that. So I have started spinning my fruit salad. I think I'm just going to call this project the fruit salad project. So I had prepared the carded sliver last week-ish. Oh well, whatever. That wasn't attached. So this was a layered bat that I did in layers of white, orange, white, and pink here. And it is spinning up into a really fun yarn. And so I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do here exactly, but you can see all sorts of, or whatever, you can see like pink sections and white sections and orange sections, but it's all sort of random and marled and lovely, and I'm really excited about that. But what I haven't decided yet, and will probably require some sampling, is if I'm going to end up chain plying it, two plying it, or combining the warm tones with the cool tones and making a very fruit salad yarn. The other one very much so looks like St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day is past, but but this one looks like, what would it be? Ambrosia salad. But this has been a lot of fun. If I'd, or what would it be? Like, could I have made different design choices when I ended up making this fiber? Certainly, but I'm pretty happy. Like, if I wanted it to be like a little bit more blendy, then I would have done more layers. But I'm pretty happy with how this is turning out. So it's just the case where, as I'm drafting, I'm trying to make sure that I'm mixing up the colors a little bit, but sometimes that's hard. Like, I'm gonna get like a long run of pink in this one just because pink's a little bit prominent there. And it's fine. I'm cool with it. It's a part of all of the random, delightful variations of what's going on. But I really like it. It's really cool. I don't think I can get this any closer. This is the problem with having the webcam like just a little bit further back, is that you don't get the details. But I should take a photo and post it. Yeah, whatever. So that has been a fun project. Enjoying myself. I will probably end up spinning all of the pink, orange, white onto a bobbin, spinning all of the green, green, white onto a bobbin, and then doing like a little bit of sampling to figure out which way I want to go. Like, I have 8 ounces. That's a pretty good amount. And what would it be? So this is a blend of, I'm guessing, merino. It's not rumby. This is rumby. That's not rumby. And then Florida Cracker, which was one of their early breeds. So, like, what would it be? Like, texture-wise, like, it has a little bit more crimp than the pink and orange fiber does. but like a pretty good feel overall. The yarn is turning out pretty soft, all things considered. Or would it be like the Florida cracker is definitely on like the finer end of wool than say Rami, for example. But yeah, no, I think it ended up turning out really cool. And maybe this is a technique that I end up using for. This might end up being a technique that I end up using for my eventual Romney fleece processing project, which is secretly hidden. You can see that black garbage bag right in the corner there, just barely. So I'm not quite ready for that, but I'm like thinking about it in the back of my mind. I might have to knit up a few more hand-spun sweater quandaries before I properly start that project. It isn't like the wool is going to go bad. It's clean and has been clean since 2017, so whatever. It'll be ready for me when the time comes. But I have this vision of creating a sweater that looks like a beautiful sunny day. Which will probably end up needing a decent amount of experimentation in order to make happen. I think I'm still cool with the plan, but I don't need to decide that yet. There is plenty of other stuff that I can do in the meantime. What's sad though is that so cold in here is like 67. And oh well. So would it be? But I'm very excited. I have created a 4-day weekend for myself, which is very exciting. My birthday is Tuesday, so if I was going to take off for my birthday, I decided that I should take off the Monday before, and so I'm very much looking forward to some decompression time after a crazy week, and what would it be? Still have a decent amount of it in progress despite the craziness, but it should be good. Sort of a rough celebration all weekend long. Like I ended up getting cupcakes for myself yesterday and some to share with the Jersey Global one. So that was exciting. Would it be? We're going on a bike ride today after I'm done podcasting, which is what I podcasted early. Would it be? And we'll figure out where it goes from there. Definitely not cooking on my birthday. Like if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I do a decent portion of sunset photos and food photos, but man oh man, would it be nice if I didn't need to take care of every single meal. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but it would be the case where like I cook because I have higher standards of cooking than the Dear Sweet Lovable one. But that doesn't mean that I always want to do it. So there's definitely like a little bit of fatigue there in terms of, what am I gonna do now? What can I do now that isn't a lot of work? Maybe it might be time to trot out, or would it be? There was like a brisket recipe that I was making for a while there that had like brisket and tomatoes and onions, and so you could like serve it with like bread or rice or maybe potatoes too. Potatoes aren't quite as popular. Or would it be? But yeah, or would it be because it has like a lot of like pan sauce that comes with it? You're like, yeah, that could feed us for a long time. would it be, or is the case where just the various things that I end up making for like varieties, would it be the case where I have like, what would it be, like broccoli slaw is like a redeeming lunchtime vegetable, or I've run out of sliced cheese so I can't make grilled cheese sandwiches, or I need to slice my own cheese. Whatever. I feel like sliced cheese is a convenience that's worth it. But yeah, no, it's sort of the case of like, I'm running out of food. I don't know what I want to make instead. Oh well, that's just sort of where I'm at. But I did finally make the Dear Sweet Level 1's burritos, so what would it be? I guess we haven't figured out what we're making instead. It's been a little bit more on the Italian side than on the Chinese side lately. So it might be time for dishes that one eats with rice. Oops. But as the case, like, should I go grocery shopping today? Because I don't feel like I need to cook, and I don't want to cook on my birthday weekend. I did cook breakfast, so. And they like, well, in order to make the pizza I got, I need to go to the grocery store and get the missing ingredients. Oh dear. But in other exciting news, California is opening up vaccinations to everyone over the age of 16, starting April 16th. So in 2 short weeks, I will be eligible for vaccination, which is very exciting. The Dear Sweet Level 1 got vaccinated on Monday, so he is already well on his way to being protected, which is exciting. And I don't know, should be good. Like, what would it be? Like, beginning to see the end, beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Trying not to be silly about anything, but would it be decent amount of hope right now? So that is very exciting indeed. So with that, I hope you guys have a lovely week, and I look forward to talking to you guys next week. So take care, guys. Bye-bye.